So yeah, one thing Jeff brought up that I wanted to bring up. So usually, we do things left to right. So when creating your microcycle, right, like usually it's the stuff at the tail end that gets the remaining parts of you once you're done with the training week. So sometimes even like say this person wants to work on back. It's like, well, why is your back the fourth day of the training day, right? Because there's a natural resetting that should happen with any, fundamentally sound training week, right? Where you start your new week, it should be after a rest day. It usually is, and you should be fresh and ready to go again. So I think sometimes just moving things up a little bit, and sometimes yes, you will have to kind of reconfigure things afterwards because that might impact, say, day two. But it should the microcycle should be written from like most important day to like least important day when it comes to order. And it's one of the reasons that I think the upper lower split is it's so fantastic for a number of reasons, because it's okay if it's something in the lower body, it could be lower upper, and you have your 4 days, right? And then the third day, again, after a cruisy second day of upper body, can be some lower again. And then maybe on the third day of some more, you added a third day of just like iso light, not so fatigue generating work at the tail end of the training block. So that fifth day is it's great for some extra work should you need it. But again, just simply rearranging the order so that on the day that you're training the body parts that you want to bring up, you are the most fresh. And this happens to work really well also, like if you're dieting, which is something to consider, because those also tend to be the body parts that slip away from our grasp is where, especially if we're digging into those competition levels of lean, right? And cycling that with your energy is something that it's easier when you're coming off, I guess, some higher food days. But that's getting a little ahead of myself. But again, just changing the order, just like you do during like a training day, where if you want to work on your quads, like they probably won't be the third movement you do on that day. The same sort of outlook should be taken into consideration when designing your training week.
One tiny little thing I would add is the calves are a great candidate for doing first in a leg day if they are weak. To even better than, say, for example, doing your biceps or triceps first in upper body day. Because if you train your biceps first, it can have a negative impact on the performance of your already lowered volume on all your back work. And same thing for triceps on all your pressing. But your calves don't really contribute meaningfully to your hip hinging or your squat patterns. And they're not a part of any of your other isolation exercises for your lower body. So if your calves need to be brought up, they're just a fantastic one to start even an upper body session with, of course. And then it becomes not an upper body session, but just kicking things off with calves can be great because they're going to take a small amount of energy to do, and they won't negatively affect the rest of your lower body day. But it's not the inverse that's true if you put it at the end. I think a lot of trainees fall victim to the fact that by the time they get to their calves, they are actually just thinking of getting out of the door. And that quality goes down, the loads go down, the reps go down, the proximity to failure goes up. So bringing them out front can really make sure that you're putting in your best effort each time you train them.